Obviously, I'm here. So we ready. We're going to get started. Hey to everybody who's in there. If we could get the mods just ready and prepared. Hey, Dark Fam. I just had to play a little music so that I could get you guys into the, as people come into the room, I kind of wanted to wait. But really, listen, we can kind of get right into it. And actually, we just gonna talk about a lot of stuff that's kind of been going on. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of stuff going on. Hold on. Because here's the thing. I don't want people to be triggered. They always seem to be triggered over marriage, but there's a lot going on with people's marriages, like a whole lot. Like y'all been seeing probably the stuff with Zion and Tim Anderson, and you see a lot of stuff coming out about DC Young Fly. Granted, let me just say this right now. DC Young Fly was not married to old girl Jackie O. He was not married to her. This was a man who turned his preference into a baby mama. And I want people to hear that, because we got to preference it for the first video that I'm going to show you guys. We all know that Jackie O was not DC Young Fly's wife. That was his baby mama. I know a lot of people are trying to call her his wife. They're trying to say that was his fiance. But like I said in my video, if you go look at her videos, you're not going to see a ring on her finger. You're not going to see her referring to DC Young Fly as her fiance. This was her boyfriend. She was his baby mama. And I feel like biracial women and women of no color, generally women who are not Black, because we see this with Asian women of no color on the rare occasion that they have a baby by Black men, which Asian women choose Black men the least. But DC Young Fly created a baby mama out of his preference. And he was very disrespectful to her. And I know there's a lot of bandits who want to make videos and say, oh, it's unfair. Y'all are blaming DC Young Fly for what this woman went through. But you're not going to convince me that if a woman has a baby by a man, 3 babies, mind you, she's with him. A lot of people are saying they weren't together. We'll see what details come out, because whenever something like this happens, there tends to be a lot of details that end up coming out, and y'all see that, you know, things weren't really the way that they were. We saw his demeanor giving his speech eulogy at her funeral. We saw her dad being up there being obsessed with interracial dating. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Black male pathology was all over that funeral. But I say that to say this man created a baby mama out of his preference. And I tell y'all all the time that don't even feel no type of way when they sit up here and tell you, oh, I'm going to go get me a snow bunny or whatever, a preference. I'm going to get my passport. I'm going to go out the country. Somebody sent me a bandit video relating to passport bros. I don't think we're going to go over it, because there's only so much banditry that I can go over. But I'm going to play a video, because everybody is trying to deny that this was this man's baby mama. He acted like he didn't even like her. There's multiple videos out where he was very, very disrespectful, mind you. And I feel the need to emphasize that as a setup for this video that I'm about to show y'all, because this is from the Viral Way podcast. Give me 1 second. I'm going to show y'all it in just a minute. This is from the Viral Way podcast, and one of the men on this podcast has been talking about, hey, Themis. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm glad you're here. Can y'all please give Themis a very obnoxious but very warm welcome, just so y'all can like welcome him into the chat. Y'all know I really rock with Themis, so, and I can't wait till we have our debate on parenting being the hardest job on the planet. I plan to win. If I win, I'm gonna tell y'all, like, first of all, Themis is a very great opponent, and I feel like there will be no way for me to lose, because at the end of the day, I'm still getting tips from an actual attorney. So I just don't feel like there's a lose for me anyway. But thank y'all for giving Themis a warm welcome. I'm glad he's here. But I wanted to set it up because the Viral Way podcast, it looks like this is, and I want to get it right. Yeah, it is. It's the Viral Way podcast. For some people, obviously, I'm gonna shout them out. I'm using their content. I use a lot of Lovely T's stuff from Instagram. I like the way she puts it together. I probably have some of it when I display some stuff to you today, but this is called the Viral Way podcast. And this man, when initially Jackie O passed away, he came out and spoke about the fact that, look, DC Young Fly turned her into a baby mama. At the end of the day, they can try to pretty it up for image sake. They can say it was his wife. They can say this was his partner. And, you know, I'm not going to disrespect her because I think being the mother of some children is a very important role, actually more important than a wife. That's my opinion. You can't divorce a man that you have children with. That's always going to be your child's father. But a wife and a husband can be divorced. So it's a temporary position. Being the mother of somebody's children is a permanent position. Whether he's there or not, that's still your child's father. You still have a connection to that man through the child that you both created who shares both of your DNA. So I really feel like having kids by a man is a more important position. You came in to bribe me into retracting the debate offer. We scared. I don't believe that. I don't believe that, though. You would have to convince me that you're scared, and I don't believe that you're not scared of a debate, Themis. I just don't. I don't believe that at all. I don't even believe that, but there's no possible way I'm believing that. But yeah. The bottom line is this man created a baby mama out of a preference, out of a very racially ambiguous woman who was beautiful. Granted, she was really pretty. I always thought she was white. Initially, when I laid eyes on her, I thought that this was just another white woman. I don't know if y'all noticed, but Black men's biracials are becoming whiter and whiter. This is what they prefer. I think that they have a fet for creating white passing biracial children. And I think that after hearing Jackie O's father's speech at her funeral, I think we can very well say that this man had an obsession with whiteness, and he probably only liked that his daughter was white passing. But I want to play this clip because I need to point out the delusionalness of this bandit here. I mean, I wasn't even going to play it, but listen, when somebody is this delusional, it has to be pointed out. And I feel like with a lot of Black men, let's just say the collective of them, because there's a lot of pushback that they give whenever Black women point out the fact that they abandon their children, they create baby mamas instead of wives. I mean, that matters to the people who want to get married. I don't think that you really need to get married per se. I think you can have a functional co-parenting union. Statistics actually say if you have a cohabitating situation between mother and father and it's functional, that's still an ideal situation. You don't necessarily need the piece of paper that's the marriage. You can just do a functional household. So that is what I believe in. But at the end of the day, a lot of the bandits within our community, the ones who are bandits, which just so happens to be the majority of them in the community, they have a level of cognitive dissonance that causes them to engage in foolish narratives as a means of trying to make it appear that they're not doing what they're doing. So when this man in here brought up the fact, each time he brought up the fact that this man created a baby mama, there was a lot of pushback. And in this clip, I feel compelled to kind of break down the foolishness of this bandit. And also I want to point out something to y'all, because a lot of people don't pay attention to like how people address certain groups of people. I want y'all to see the hatred in how this bandit addresses Black women. And at a certain point in time, because we already know he's talking about Black women, because this is in reference to Black men and Black women, I want y'all to tell me if you know the way that he actually references Black women in here, because this is going to tell you his attitude towards Black women. And most Black men have this attitude, I would venture to say. If they didn't, we wouldn't have this other cultural dynamic. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because people like to say, oh, it's a minority. And this bandit in here, he's going to say the same thing. But please do understand that you don't get circumstances like this when in our community if you don't get a culture from a minority of people. So let me pull up the chat box on my phone. I want to pull it up really quickly so I can follow with y'all. Y'all should see the screen. And let me play this for you. I might stop because this is a nearly 6-minute video, but let's go into it.
Or even celebrities who just have a absentee, non-committal, freaking spirit of abandonment when it comes to their children. Oh, I had them now, and I got them. You know, she was basically like a breeder, my nigga. Like, she's cute.
Listen, I'm telling y'all, I'm a use spirit of abandonment because I think a lot of Black men, not only do they have a spirit of abandonment, but they also have a spirit of degeneracy. But he just pointed out a fact, though, and this is what I try to get y'all to realize every day, that this is a pathology and a way of life for a lot of men in our community. And it didn't just get this way with the minority. In order for a cultural dynamic to become a cultural dynamic, whether it's a thought process or way of life, it has to be adopted by the majority. You don't get cultural dynamics off of the minority. And it doesn't necessarily require that the majority engages in that behavior. In this case, it is the majority who engages in that behavior, not just with Black women, but with other races of women too. But they could simply agree to the mindset. They can agree to whatever's being done. And in the Black community, there's way too many Black men who, number one, engage in the behavior of abandoning their children and abandoning their responsibility as fathers. But there's also a lot of Black men who agree that they should be able to, for whatever reason. It could be a number of different reasons. But what I noticed then, though, is that when this is pointed out, when this spirit of abandonment is pointed out that is most prevalent in Black men, they engage in this delusional narrative to try and trick the world into believing that that's not the case. And it's like, we all know. You're not going to sit up here and try to act like we don't know. We know.
It's all right. I'm going to stop.
This is the record shit. Now you're going back into that. I'm not letting you get that.
I heard too many Black people say, "Ooh, bro, I'm gonna put a baby in her. She got good hair. She likes me."
You ain't never. Listen, fuck all that. That's the niggas you hang around.
Yeah, look. No, this is him being triggered in a classic deflective technique, because a lot of people say it here, where you'll hear them trying to counter what Black women say, and they'll say, "Oh, well, that's just the man you chose." No, it's not just who he hangs out with. It's not just the man that you chose as a Black woman. It's a cultural dynamic. It is backed by statistical data. They act like there's no way to find out whether or not Black men are actually providing for and parenting their children. Like, this is not about who this man hangs out with. It's not just in our community. Look at people of no colors community, how women of no color are becoming the largest group of single mothers to so-called Black children. You can look at the Hispanic community. They have that same issue. They haven't even had their passports for that long. And the Philippines are wanting to sue the U.S. because of them abandoning children over here. So it's like, what are you talking about? This is not about who this man knows.
Overall, the results actually came out. It was officially announced that Black men are the most involved fathers in their children's lives out of everybody. So that whole stereotype that Black men be abandoning their kids, I'm not letting you spread that, because every Black man I know with a kid is in his kid's life.
Every Black man you know.
Every Black man I know is in their kid's life.
Okay.
Who cares?
So when moms got, I don't even want you talking about this girl, but when moms got surgery, where's the kids at? Was they with DC?
That DC is one person. He does not represent. Listen, he does not represent.
We're talking about this specific people, but then as a reflection of our greater society. The only way this stuff is possible is if there's a culture that permits it and condones it, bro.
Nigga, we don't condone that. No, real.
No, and look, I don't know what this bandit in the Black's name is. We just gonna call him Bandit 1 at the end of the day. But I don't know what this dude is talking about, but this is a cultural dynamic. And you can be as delusional as you want to. You can try to sit here and deny it because this is Black men's reputation. But the proof is in the pudding, and quite frankly, no one really cares what you're sitting here talking about. The reality is y'all do abandon your kids. And the only way that you're going to stop abandoning your children is if you actually realize that you're abandoning them and then stop abandoning them. But sitting here trying to misquote the CDC study, I hope y'all caught that, where he's talking about it's officially out, it's officially being confirmed. How many times are y'all gonna contradict y'all's rant on single motherhood by bringing up this CDC study that you obviously did not read? Because if you did read it, you will know that it's not generalizable. Number two, you will know that the population was too small to be counted as anything. And number three, you will be able to look around your community, regardless of who you know, and you would be able to see that most people talk about how they didn't have no father. It's in the white community too. The thing is, I think that was statistical wise, is what he's talking about. He's talking about that CDC study though. And just sitting here looking dumb, not even having the, like, why don't they read the study before they actually get up here and quote it? But this is why they go into these echo chambers where everybody is spouting out the same nonsense and stupidity, because y'all keep sitting here talking about this CDC study, and all you're doing is making yourself look stupid, because we could tell you didn't read it. Because anybody who read it would not be quoting it. You don't take care of your children at the end of the day. And you can sit up here and quote a study that you didn't read all you want to. It's not going to change the fact that you still don't take care of your kids. If you did, you wouldn't have women of no color and their biracial children sitting up all on social media complaining about the same thing that Black women do. Like, they're delusional.
No real stand-up man that you know is gonna promote being a deadbeat. You're not putting that on Black men. That's that Uncle Ruckus shit.
Use a lie.
Listen, that's that Uncle Ruckus shit. This is why I call you
Use a
Uncle
lie,
Ruckus.
bro.
We do not promote deadbeat daddy.
Yeah, you do.
We had a whole generation of deadbeat dads. In order for that to happen,
we talking about this generation.
Yeah, this generation still have the residual effect of that.
We're not talking about. We're not talking about when crack plagued our.
Yeah, exactly. And look at this. Look at this. Then he goes into, crack plagued our community, welfare, taking a man out of the home. So y'all just go be dumb and remedial and keep talking about stuff that is obviously false. Welfare did not put you out the home. We can all read any data source and see that you were not put out the home. Like, we're not going to turn this into a chicken and egg discussion, but at the end of the day, no one put you out of the home. You weren't in the home. And that's why Black women were qualifying for welfare, because you just weren't there. But notice how they resort to the same lies. It's like we're not a generation past it. This is what Black men have been doing since they stepped off the plantation, and it's only been increasing. And his hostile, triggered attitude is letting me know that he knows it's true, and he don't want this man talking about how it's true, but it's true nonetheless.
When the government use government assistance to get women to put we talking about right now, presently, today. Black men are in their kids' lives.
Then why do y'all keep mentioning single mothers?
They're not doing.
Look, and now he want to sit here and try to act like there's not an epidemic of absentee fathers. There's an epidemic of deadbeat mothers. And we're supposed to go by who this bandit knows. Like, no one cares about who you know. We don't even want to know you. But he's sitting up here talking about, I know way more deadbeat mothers. You're not going to convince anybody that anybody is abandoning their children more than you as a Black man. You're not going to convince anybody of that. And you're certainly not going to convince anybody that we have an epidemic in the Black community of Black women abandoning their kids. Okay, well, the rate of Black women of Black children going into foster care hasn't really increased on the woman's side of abandoning her children. So where is he getting this information from, that Black women are abandoning their children? Because this is what he's trying to assert, that Black women are abandoning their children more than Black men are. And yet there's still a tiny rate of single fathers, including Black ones. Because there's more single fathers in other races than in the Black community. So where are these children going? If the father is available to take their children, the mother is abandoning them, then why aren't these Black men, why isn't the rate of Black single fathers increasing? Although there's all of these single mothers all of these Black mothers who's abandoning their children. But this is the lens that they go to try to paint a different reality. You have the spirit of abandonment on you, like the man in the gray said, and you're abandoning your kids, and you're not going to convince anybody that you're not.
deadbeat dads.
We could talk about
Like, fuck is you talking about?
we could talk about the role that women play in the situation too, but in this particular case, we're talking about men. And I'm not saying this to beat up on young fly or whatever. All I'm saying is this is a problem within our culture that needs to be addressed.
It's not a problem in our culture.
You're not gonna
celebrity.
And you're not gonna address it by sitting up deflecting it, bringing up, oh, I know more men and stuff like this. Ultimately, we know the men we know, and because of who we are, we hang around a certain caliber of men who takes care of his kids. Like, you take care of your kids, I take care of my kids.
So let me ask you this. If you know guys that are this way, what caliber of man are you to be hanging?
This is the
I'm
deflection.
not hanging with no niggas that are deadbeat. It's not happening.
Yeah, he's lying. He does.
Okay, so where you getting your... Okay,
And let me tell y'all, does he strike you as the type of man who's not going to hang around with a man who abandons his kids? Like, yeah, you will, because all you will do, all the bandit has to do is say, oh, she's keeping me away from my kid. You're going to believe it, and you will hang out with him anyway, because I don't believe that you're taking care of your own kid. I don't believe that this is a man who takes care of his children. I just really don't. I don't. He doesn't rub me as that type. He's very disrespectful.
Where's your information come from?
My information is just coming from growing up in our community. Like, bro, we're gonna sit here and pretend like kids don't even know who their dad is. Kids ain't even seen their dad in 20 years. Like, I'm not gonna pretend like this is happening. Even your audience, when you see these comments after, they can attest to that. You got even women, oh, this dude left me. I mean, look at the situation. You got 3 kids by somebody. First kid, okay, that's a mistake. Or maybe I was just in the heat of the moment. 3 kids, that's intentional, bro. That ain't no accident 3 times.
Okay, let me say this. Now you're going into a whole nother realm.
Yeah, I'm in a realm.
No, I'm saying you're going into a whole nother realm. A lot of this has to do with the women as well. Because I like to deal with statistics because
No, you don't.
Data. At least up to 40% of men are raising kids that's not theirs.
Yeah, listen. There's no data that says 40% of black men are raising kids that's not theirs. And that's, I need y'all to understand the blatant outright lie that this is, because a lot of black men will talk about this false paternity. There's not a high rate of false paternity in any community. And I've already looked this up. There is not a significantly high rate of false paternity. This band is set up here and said 40% of black men are raising children who are not theirs. Well, they're not biracial, so whose children are they? Because they still are black. So even if they ain't your black kid, let's say, for example, yeah, okay, fine. 40% of black men are raising kids that ain't theirs. They're black. Whose father are they? Or whose kids are they? Because they're still the children within the black community. So what are you talking about? But it's a lie. 40% of black men are not raising children that are not theirs. And even if they are, let's say hypothetically again, yeah, 40% of black men are raising kids that ain't theirs. Why are you signing the birth certificate? Because there's not a court system on the planet that's going to make you pay any child support for a child whose birth certificate that you didn't sign. I know that for a fact. I know that for a fact. In order for a man to have to be legally obligated to raise the child that is not biologically his, he has to take responsibility for it by signing the birth certificate. If you ain't on that birth certificate, you don't have a financial obligation to raise a kid that ain't yours. The bandit is sitting here lying because we would be able to easily pull up data on this. You can't take a bunch of isolated incidents where there may be a bandit who signed a birth certificate taking financial responsibility for a child, said that the child was theirs, assumed paternity, and then say, oh, we got a 40% rate of black men raising kids that ain't theirs. No, absolutely you don't. Absolutely not. And this is a lying ass bandit, and he knows he's a lying ass bandit. And because he lost the other argument, now he wants to introduce another line. You're lying.
I'm going to go into how many women don't even know who the father is.
They know he black.
Or the father even be in the picture.
Look, you don't need to know exactly who your father is, which most women, including black women, most women know who their kid's father is. But at the end of the day, the kids are black. Where's the black daddy? The man know he slept with the woman. Where's their black daddy? Because at the end of the day, black women are the most likely to not date out their race. They don't go out and create a bunch of black children, of biracial children. Most of the biracial children are black men's children. So who are you suggesting is fathering these children? Because I'm betting they're still black.
Fucking 3-4 niggas at one time don't know who the daddy is. And a lot of that is the cause of a lot of these kids not having fathers around.
Right.
And let's be real, a lot of bitches are using men as donors as well, to where, okay,
I want y'all to listen to them right here.
Now, whatever happened, we break up, the relationship is over, I'm running to the court to use the kid as a pawn to get back at you because I'm bitter and I'm hurt. So a lot of men have to fight to even be in their kids' life.
Which, hold on, because I don't want to sit here and pause this, but a woman can just walk into a courtroom based off of bitterness and use a child against a man. There actually has to be a valid claim there. And it wouldn't matter whether her motivation is bitterness or not. The court is saying, look, no matter how bitter she is, this is your child, you're responsible for it. Yet another deflection technique. It don't matter even if all women were going to the court 100% bitter and that was their motivation, and who cares? You still have a responsibility. That's why the court is making you pay child support that they shouldn't have to make you pay, because you should just be raising your kids. Steven says, so they don't know the dad that is the most involved. No, they don't. They don't know one of the most involved dads. They only know either welfare, crack in the black community, the woman using the kid as a pawn. I don't know how a woman uses a kid as a pawn in a court system. You either have a valid claim or you don't, but it is what it is. You can talk about her motivation. No one cares. You either have a valid claim or you don't. It's not based on motivation. If the child is yours, or if you assume the responsibility financially for the child, then you're going to have to pay for the child legally. And there is no, she went to the court and she's bitter. Valid claim or no valid claim. That's what the courts care about. Did you take responsibility for this child? Are you the father or are you not? We don't care about her emotional state. If you're the father, you paying for this kid. That's what they care about. So you can sit there and say she's wrong because you think she's bitter. The court does not care. It's still your child. Pay for your child. We ain't trying to sit here and pay for your kids that you keep creating that you don't have to help create. There's always an excuse here, and he is bitter. He's bitter and angry and disgruntled and triggered, but do y'all see how he switched and what he's referring to black women now out of his own trigger bitterness? This is why I'm saying this dude don't take care of his kid. He doesn't take care of his kid. Look at how he referring to black women.
A lot of men, literally, mostly half the men I know who are fathers, who do share some type of custody agreement, they had to fight to get it because the bitch took the kid, fled the state, or the bitch went to court, put a fake case on him. The bitch went to court, put him on. Now he got to fight for his life to even be able to be in his kid's life. So no, we not spreading that bullshit propaganda.
Now I want y'all to see how it went from women to the bitch. He's talking about his own kid's mom right here. This dude is a disgruntled, angry blackbird who's sitting up here mad because his baby's mom went to court and put him on child support. He didn't create a wife, he created a baby mama, and that's why he keeps referring to her as the bitch. We don't need to know your personal story with a woman that you want to refer to as a bitch because you're mad because she put you on child support for your child. I guarantee you he's on child support with this nasty attitude here. Let me talk about their nasty attitudes, because listen, bandits want to run around talking about black women have an attitude. This bandit's attitude is so nasty, he can't even refer to his baby mama as a woman. He's referring to her as the bitch. With your nasty ass, disgruntled, triggered ass attitude. But you sitting there calling her a bitch and telling people they got attitudes, and y'all got the nastiest disgruntled attitude on the face of the planet for things that you shouldn't have an attitude over, like taking care of your kids. You don't get to sit here and refer to her as the bitch. You impregnated the bitch. So it's your responsibility. And why are you sitting up here lying when y'all just choosing to not take care of your kids because you want there to be a cultural dynamic where you get to lay up with the bitch, impregnate her, and then complain when the baby drop? You impregnated her, sir. So therefore, that's why you have to provide for the child now. You don't get to sit there and call her the bitch. You're the bitch that didn't wear a condom. And you should have, because you probably wouldn't be in this situation complaining like an angry bird had you worn a condom. But y'all don't want to do that either.
And that niggas is choosing to not be in
No,
kids'
I
lives.
think that
That's not happening in mass.
It is happening to men's.
DC Young Fly, you don't even know that nigga to know
I don't
his
know.
circumstance to say he a deadbeat. That's crazy.
I didn't say it was a deadbeat.
Hold on. Do y'all need to know DC Young Fly to know that he didn't marry the woman he created kids with? And this is why I say they're stupid and they think you're stupid too. We don't need to know him personally to know he didn't marry her. Ain't no ring on her finger. We can simply type in whatever county they got married in. There will either be a marriage certificate or they won't. He was not married to this woman. There was no ring on her finger. He didn't refer to her as his wife. She didn't refer to him as her husband, nor did she refer to him as his fiance. So we don't need to know DC Young Fly personally to know that he didn't marry the woman that he helped to create 3 children with. We don't need to know him. We know that he obviously was not there with her while she was getting surgery, and we know he didn't have the kids either. And we don't need to know him personally to know that.
Yeah, maybe I did.
But you don't know that nigga. You don't know.
I don't even know his relationship. What I'm saying is,
So don't call the man a deadbeat.
bro,
You don't know that.
He didn't call him that.
And it's to the public.
What evidence?
All the videos, all this stuff, even just the fact that of the circumstances in which this shit went down, it's all shady. It reeks of freaking like just degenerate celebrity behavior. And we act like this is not.
Listen, it is degenerate. He shouldn't say celebrity. He should just say black male behavior, because it is. The bottom line of it is, it doesn't matter whether the man is a celebrity or not. He's going to follow this pattern because this is the cultural dynamic. And unfortunately, not only do black men agree with it, black women do too. Because we always seen black women in the comment section of some type of video advocating for a black man to not have to either financially support his kid or not take care of it at all. So look, you don't have a cultural dynamic unless the majority, male and female, agree to it. So as black women, we should be thinking about, why are we allowing this to go as a cultural dynamic? Why? Out of black male worship. So because he black, he just don't have to take care of his kids. We just go sit there and blame it on the woman, say she keeping a man from his kids. I don't know how in this type of legal system where, first of all, the family courts, they favor men. They've always favored men. You're not going to live in a patriarchal society where everything doesn't benefit the men. So they're trying to act like the only the only part of the system that doesn't favor men is the family court system. Every single part of the system favors men over women. I don't care what part it is. Men have the advantage when they walk into court. So you're not about to convince anybody that these bandits who don't want their kids to begin with are going to court so that they can be court mandated, legally mandated to provide for a child. You're not going to convince anybody that that's happening. I'm not buying whatever you're trying to sell. I'm not buying it. What he's doing is he's putting sugar on shit and he's calling it a brownie and he wants you to accept it as such. And I'm not going. Y'all are abandoning your kids, and you can sit here and lie and whine and talk about bitches as much as you want to and try to deflect and call it. What is he calling it from the Boondocks? I forgot. Uncle Ruckus. You can call it Uncle Ruckus. A lot of people will sit there and say, oh, Stan is supporting white supremacy. Okay, you can call it that if you want to. I'm not going to change what I'm doing or saying. Like, it's just not going to happen. You can deflect as much as you want to, though. But the reality is black men are abandoning their children. If there is a spirit of abandonment, it's definitely going through, it's circling the block in the black community. Circling it. And unfortunately, a lot of black women do support this because we live in a black male worshiping culture. So you have too many black women who believe that these bandits should not have to financially support their children and that they should not have to raise them. And the way that you agreed with that is that you continue to have children with men who are not raising their children. And we've done that generation after generation after generation. You don't have to open your mouth and say, I agree with this cultural dynamic. All you have to do is continue to have children by the males who are not raising their children. And we've done that generation after generation after generation. So, of Our behavior has said we're okay with this, because if we weren't, we wouldn't be having children by him. You can now look over into the white community. They doing the same thing. And I told y'all when I first came on here, you know, bandits have so much to say about Black women. Switch the race of the women and let's see how it goes. The race of the woman being switched for a lot of Black men. And the only thing that increases the single mother rate in their community. The problem is them. It is very clearly them. Clearly, it's in their favor, but they want to sit up here and be delusional, and ain't nobody going. Like, nobody's going. Now, y'all listen, sometimes I just don't know about this marriage thing, because you can sit here, hold on for a minute, let me see, yeah, I'm gonna have to download this, because I want to talk about Tim Anderson, he's a baseball player, and I'm sure y'all have heard of him having a baby outside of his marriage. Because again, these bandits don't really care about marriage, but they know Black women do. They know that Black women do. And that's all they need to know. All a bandit needs to know is that Black women value marriage. Then that just means they don't need to, because you will still marry them. Even if you know, even when they show that they don't value marriage, you will still run around talking about how you just want to marry him. So you have Tim Anderson here, who decided that he wanted to talk about having a child outside of his marriage. This is what Tim Anderson is out here doing. And the reason Tim Anderson is caught up in this situation is because his side chick I don't even really want to call a side chick, because when you repeatedly see a woman and you're having a children with her, that's a side family. That's your side family. That's a whole entire affair. That's you being dedicated to another woman outside of your wife. Wives can call it whatever they want to. If it make you feel better that to call the woman he's having a child with, regardless to your marriage, if it makes you feel better to call her a side chick, then by all means call her a side chick. But to me, I'm not about to be calling a woman just a side chick when she over here with a whole child. And this man done being in her house, he spends a significant amount of time. Anytime a woman is able to sit up here and tell you how much her husband been at your house, y'all can call it a side chick if you want to. I'm calling it a side family, because there's feelings attached here. There's some kind of feelings attached here at the end of the day. That man, for whatever reason, exactly, a mistress. That man, for whatever reason, cannot part ways with this woman. And this happens quite a bit in the Black community, because at the end of the day, they don't really care about marriage vows. What is marriage vows to? And look, YouTube over here playing. Listen. YouTube is not going to sit here and act like I don't see that my chat box was just on 2,600 and now it's on 2,000. Okay. So I caught how much YouTube be sitting up here playing. I hope y'all caught how much YouTube be playing too, because I saw the chat box change. And now it's constantly changing too. It's still changing. I'm going to have to email them and tell them about that. But Tim Anderson, his side chick wanted his wife to know how much she stays over his house. She had a kid with him. She put it all over social media, talking about on some I got your man, and really she do got your man. And of course the wife is going to remain the wife, because now you're in a competition and now you have a person who don't want to lose to another woman that's already tied to him. Now, I don't know if him and his wife got kids. It look like they do. Yeah, he got 2 kids with his wife, but now he got kids by another woman too. No, it wasn't just you, and it did go from 2.6 to 1.8. I saw that too. And it's like, listen, nearly 1,000 people did not just leave this chat box at one time. That doesn't happen. You don't have it happen where that many people decide to leave the chat box at one time. This is YouTube over here playing games, and this is the games that they play. They do this with content creators. They do it. Tim Anderson is a Black baseball player. He's a Black baseball player. And he has these 2 daughters. The side chick decided to come out and constantly talk about how she had the child with this woman's man. The bottom line is they're now in some kind of competition. the wife is now dealing with single person issues, because I don't know what the point of getting in a marriage is if you're still going to have to deal with outside families and women on social media or on your phone. To me, if a woman is coming to you on social media, it's kind of the same as if she came to you on the phone and start bragging about being with your man, like on some I got your man. I don't know what the point in getting married is if this is just how you, if this is how your marriage is going to play out, you might as well stay single and just get power of attorney, or just get yourself put on the will of a man. Because you would have the same thing then too. You just wouldn't be legally bound to them. So it's a problem when Black marriages play out as contractual dating. And the reason I call them contractual dating is because a lot of people are more likely to understand cheating. In fact, they don't even see it as cheating. A lot of people don't see a man stepping out on a woman that he's not married to as cheating. Why is this playing out as contractual dating? This is how the marriages are playing out, because this is a married man who has a whole entire family on the side, and married women want to blame they want to blame single women. Single women are not the problem. When your husband decides to lay down with another woman unprotected, the single woman is not the problem, your husband is. And this is why Black married women experience the highest rate of STDs, because you got these bandits running around raw dogging different women, although you're married. And you can try to one up that woman and say that you're better, but at the end of the day, you're not. She getting the same thing you getting. A lying, cheating, philandering man. That's what y'all both getting. You just married to him legally. She ain't. But she's still getting the same thing. Why? You feel special because if he gets hurt or if he ends up in a hospital, they're going to tell you his information. Who cares? He had a baby outside of your marriage. Like, who cares? If I'm married, do you think I'm going to be there for my husband and he got this woman pregnant and then she all on social media, which to me is the equivalent of being on my phone talking about I got your man and your man being with me? I'm not showing up to the hospital if something happens to you and that's how you've been acting within my marriage. I couldn't care less. A legal right over a philandering bandit is just not a badge of honor to me, but it is to married women though, because they feel like they got married benefits. But I want to play what this man got to say, because he decided to come on here and talk about having a baby outside of his marriage. And watch him make himself the victim. I got a feeling he about to do that. Let me play this video. Let me share the screen for y'all. No, I'm gonna play the audio because I don't know what this is from the Pivot podcast, so I'm pretty sure it's copyrighted. So I'm just gonna play the audio for you guys.
7 while outside privately and having 7 while outside your marriage and having to deal with that with Bria and make those things right with her. You know, we went to therapy, just really digging into, you know, what was it? What caused me to, you know, go into, you know, these.
Here, let me share the screen for the people asking who Tim Anderson is. This is who he is. A preference among Black women, because he's a dark-skinned Black man and he got a little bit of money. So he's Black women's preference. While a light, nearly white woman is Black men's preference generally. And we know that because this is what they talk about. This is Black women's preference. A dark-skinned Black man who's mildly attractive, who have a little bit of money. This is Black women's preference. And he decided to have a kid outside of his marriage. And he doesn't really seem remorseful to me at all. But this is who Tim Anderson is. So let me just get out of here and unshare the screen so we can listen to the video. Because I don't want copyright and I don't want to have to deal with that.
Or even that space to even create that. It's a tough conversation. It's a tough situation. You know, I feel like we did a lot of work as far as, you know, understanding it and showing my love to, you know, to my wife and to my kids. But, you know, it's something I'm still going through, trying to master it to get to the point to where I'm okay with walking in it and stepping in it 1,000% for sure.
Yeah, of course you are. Listen, here's the thing. For a man, it's always going to be easier for him to walk in it and step in it because he's not the one who had a woman, his woman. Because rarely, I want y'all, how many times have y'all seen high profile stories where the Black man was married to his Black wife and she went out and had a side baby? Put a 1 in the chat box if y'all have ever heard of that scenario happening, where the woman goes out and she has this, and she's being exposed by a man That was, I don't know what the male term for mistress, I guess. Don't think we can call him mistress. I don't know what the man is for male mistress, but I know we haven't seen no high profile situations involving Black celebrities, and the Black wife done went out and had a side baby. I know we ain't seen that. Put a 1 in the chat box if you've heard of it. Because this is something that these males do. So when they sit up here and talk about getting through it, it's going to be easier for you to get through it than your wife. Because you're not the one that got this woman over here taunting you at the end of the day. So again, ain't nobody seen no woman, okay? Ain't nobody seen no woman. And that's because, number one, the man ain't gonna stay with the woman. He ain't. Y'all loyal to them, they ain't loyal to you. They know they can cheat and get away with it. And they also know that if you cheat and don't even have a baby, they ain't gonna stay around. So they got more standards and expectations than you do. And I say you should change that and start treating them the way that they treat you. Bandits ain't gonna stay around for no woman who cheating on them, and damn sure ain't gonna stay around for no Black woman that had a whole side baby, and now the man is on social media or on his phone taunting him. They ain't gonna do that. You do that. I ain't gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it, but they ain't gonna do it either, but most women are. Exactly. What Thema said. Where are all the men who called for Will to leave Jada? Jada didn't even have a baby outside of her relationship. Jada didn't cheat. Will Smith came out and said, look, she didn't cheat. We got an open situation. They still wanted Will Smith to leave her because she was with another man. Because he was with another man, Black men wouldn't have an issue with Will Smith if he hadn't seemingly slapped Chris Rock over Jada Pinkett, and if he wouldn't have chosen to stay married to Jada Pinkett, even though she was with August Alsina. This is the double standard that y'all agree to. When you agree to continue to stay married to a man who's had a child with another woman, and you know that he would not do the same for you, we all know that. There ain't nobody in the chat box who can honestly say that no, the man would stay with her, because you would just be lying. You would just be lying. He's not going to stay with her at all. It ain't going to happen. I want to play another part of this.
Oh, this is my son.
Yeah, that's my son for sure, probably. I never once denied it. I always, I'm always going to step up to the plate with mine, because that goes back to, when I was a kid and my dad, I know what it feels like not having your dad around. So 1000%. I never, I was there, been there, gonna always be there. And go.
I want y'all to look in this man's eyes to the extent that you can and tell me if you think this is a man who's remorseful over anything that he's done. I'm just gonna leave the still image up here because I want y'all to really try to use some kind of spiritual discernment or read people's energy. Does this look like the face of a man who is at all concerned or remorseful about what he did? Absolutely not, because he know he ain't taking no L's. He know he ain't gonna take no L. So when he sits here and looks like this is a man who is unconcerned about any consequence. He can sit up here and try to act like it's a noble act for him to take care of his child. You should be taking care of your new son because you created it, but you don't get a cookie for doing it because you should be doing it. You stepped out on your wife and love did not matter to you at all. This is a man who is not remorseful or concerned. He does not think he did anything wrong. And he's probably going to do it again, especially since the wife is staying. Because unfortunately, what a lot of women will do, especially Black women, when they get married, because they seem to think that this is like getting married is like a phenomenon, and it's not. It's kind of like basic in everybody else's community. I do want y'all to know that what y'all are bragging about in the Black community is standard in everybody else's community. In everybody else's community, you should be marrying the woman that you created children with. You should be. So you just wouldn't get a cookie running around in the white community. And this is why you don't really see a lot of white women bragging that they're married all over social media. You don't see them putting wife, whoever in the bio, not like you see black women doing, because marriage is standard in their community. Black women are the only ones who think that marriage is like a special thing. And it's because Bandits created this dynamic out of their devaluation of marriage. And they never valued marriage. It didn't stop them from leaving you. It didn't make them take care of their kids. And it damn sure didn't stop them from going and creating other kids with other women. A lot of black women think getting married is the badge of honor. It's basic in everybody else's community. This is one of the reasons why they're not going to go try to flex their marriages on women of no color. They're only going to do it to black women. They're not going to do it to anybody else because they know it ain't going to fly. Marriage is a standard. It's basic in everybody else's community. But because black men don't really marry black women, and they're less likely to marry black women when they become a Tim Anderson, black women somehow think they're getting a special deal. This is the special deal that you get. And a man having a kid outside of his relationship, this is typical. So y'all are not going to say this is a rare occurrence where a bandit just decides to cheat and bring home a side baby. No, this is typical in the black community for black marriages. Black women still think it's a badge of honor, though, because they get to flex on a single black woman. They get to flex and say, well, na boo boo, and a bandit chose me and not you. And then watch how disgracefully their marriage aged, though. Like Tabitha Brown. And the only reason why I want to go into Tabitha Brown, that's all this man said. By the way, that's all he said about it. I'm not going to go look up the whole podcast. I'm just not going to do that because the bottom line is Tim Anderson is a philandering bandit. He cared nothing about his marriage. He's really only one more example of how black marriages play out and how black women don't benefit from them and all that black women have to endure in order to stay married so that they can go flex on another black woman only. Because we're going to emphasize the fact that black married women only try to flex on other black women. They know better than to do it in anybody else's community because they get dragged. Because quite frankly, your bandit is more likely to go marry Becky or Maria or Ling Ling than he is to marry you, especially when they have some money. Especially when they have some money. So black women ain't gonna go over into anybody else's community and flex. They know better than to do that. You would just get your feelings hurt. You will just get your feelings hurt at the end of the day. Black women are not going to do that. And you will likely never see a black woman trying to flex a marriage on anything other than a black woman. It ain't gonna happen. And if it has happened, please find me the video or any instance where a black woman tried flexing on another race of woman that she's married. Find me one of them, please. And if you find somebody who said they seen it, I'll find you a liar because it ain't gonna happen. Black women already know who to flex on. You know that the only person that you can flex on is another black woman. And that's why you only flex on other black women. Everybody else get married more than you do. But I wanted to mention Tabitha Brown as I segue into this clip by Mary J. Blige. Let me make sure I got my clip right from Mary J. Blige, because y'all know Mary J. Blige had the outcome that a lot of black women have, minus the money issues. I'm just going to say minus the money issues. The outcome that Mary J. Blige had is that she did not benefit from getting married. And the reason she didn't benefit from getting married is because she married down and then she didn't cover herself with a prenuptial agreement. This is something that I suspect Tabitha Brown did not do. That's why I'm bringing up Tabitha Brown. I want y'all to know why I'm bringing up Tabitha Brown in this situation, because we just talked about her saying she doesn't trust other women around her men, which means she don't trust her husband. And I couldn't care. Listen, there was a lot of black women in my comment section sitting up here saying, well, that doesn't mean that she don't trust her husband and they both doing the same thing. Okay, well, if they both feel the same way, which, I mean, Chance's body language said he does not feel the same way as Tabitha Brown, but sure, y'all can pretend that he do. The fact of the matter is Tabitha Brown is insecure. She's insecure. Either her husband has a history of cheating or he's done something to where she feels like he cannot be trusted around other women. The reason she's making it about other women is because she's a Black woman. And it's easier to make it about other women than it is to check your man. Because if Chance has been cheating on her, she probably ain't checked him yet. It don't sound like she checked him when he allowed another woman to sit on his lap. So at the end of the day, Tabitha Brown, you can guarantee that she's in a marriage with no prenup. Put a one in the chat box if you think Tabitha Brown got a prenuptial agreement. Put a 2 in the comment if you think she did not. Because I would bet money that Tabitha Brown didn't get a prenuptial agreement when she married Chance. I guarantee you she didn't. So somebody go say you're still reaching, saying some of us actually watched the full episode. I don't care if you watched the full episode. You could have watched the full episode and got something completely different than I got, because a lot of Black women operate in delusion and they love to chase fantasy. And if Tabitha Brown is presenting a fantasy of this perfect Black love with a Black man, you're going to hear whatever you want to hear. So you could have, why do you act like people don't, if people don't watch the same thing and get different takes out of it? You can say you watched it. Okay, so did I. And clearly we both got something different. You're probably marriage obsessed. So you probably got that these are two loving people and Chance feels the same way about her. I didn't get that. I looked at his body language. I looked at his facial expression, and his facial expression says, while she may be only having same-sex friends, he absolutely does not. He doesn't. And you can say whatever you want to. I don't believe that he feels the way about that she does. And he didn't say the same thing, and I need y'all to stop saying that he said the same thing. He did not. He didn't. Him saying that there's no reason for a single man to want to befriend a married woman and that they need to be friends with both of them, that is not the same thing as a woman sitting up here saying, I don't trust my other women around my husband. He didn't say the same thing. Y'all heard it as the same thing because you want it to be the same thing because you want to live in a fantasy. His mouth didn't say the same thing and his body language damn sure didn't say the same thing. He didn't say the same thing. But the bottom line is, I guarantee you Tabitha Brown didn't get no prenuptial agreement. So what she's doing is she's either going to stick in the marriage and suffer like she's been suffering. And that's why she has the insecurity that she has, because she know her husband running dick to everybody who want it. She knows that her husband is going to catch whatever a woman throws at him. He ain't turning down nothing but his collar. That is what his body language said to me. So you can have your opinion on it and I have mine. And based on my opinion, if a woman is sitting there saying, I don't trust other women around my man, it's because she don't trust the actions of her man. If she trusted the actions of her man, it would not matter who he was around. Because at the end of the day, your husband has the ability to turn down women. And if he had a habit of doing that, you wouldn't care who he was around. Tabitha Brown sat up here and retired her husband before he was supposed to get a pension, right before he was supposed to get a pension. She's now the breadwinner. It does not matter what this man does. He can cheat on her with 50 million women. And if she divorces him, she's still going to pay him. She's still going to pay him. It does not matter. And that's why I wanted to bring that up with this Mary J. Blige discussion, because this is the mistake that a lot of women make. Hold on, I need to see what this is on because I don't know copyright. Oh, okay. I don't think I'll get copyright for this, but if I do, I'll just dispute it. But I want y'all to hear what Mary J. Blige had to say about having a prenuptial agreement, because if Black women are getting married and they're not protecting their assets, it is because they're desperate for marriage. Y'all ain't gonna convince me of nothing else. Because a woman who knows she has options would not feel like she shouldn't protect her assets in a system that says there's no fault divorces. in a system that tries to pretend. Saying that women are equal to men is the same as saying black people are equal to white people. Women are not equal to men. However, I do believe that I don't find it to be a coincidence that right when women get the legal right to divorce, no fault divorce comes into place too. I don't find that to be a coincidence any more than once they made anti-discrimination laws, they covered them with at-will employment. So you can think that your employer cannot fire you or that you can do a wrongful termination lawsuit. No, you cannot, because even though there's laws that say that they got to hire you, there's a law here that says they can fire you for any reason or no reason, and they don't even have to tell you. So just as sure as at-will employment is a way to continue to discriminate and really void out anti-discrimination laws in employment, you can best believe no-fault divorce is the way to mitigate the fact that women can legally leave marriages now. Now women can legally leave marriages, but if you divorce this man, you gonna have to pay him if you make more money. You gonna have to pay him. So that's one way of trying to trap women into these abusive marriages, because none of that matters. It doesn't matter if you say he beat you. It doesn't matter if you say he cheated on you. Okay, did you initiate the divorce? Do you make more than he do? If you do, you about to pay this man. And let me play this clip from Mary J. Blige so y'all can really see what's going on here in this real world while you're not protecting yourself because you're operating like a beggar, not a chooser.
What advice would you give as far as for a woman that may be wealthy, well off, and they're looking to get married?
Get a prenup, because I didn't have one, and that's why I ended up having to just give everything away, because it's so. Let me just speak. It's so whack right now that men, can come at you and get and get alimony. So when I was getting a divorce, I was like, "You mean to tell me I got to pay him?" And he cheated and he lied and he stole, not to get all petty, but you know what I'm saying? You mean I got to pay him for cheating and lying on me and ruining my life? So yeah, and the law is you have to, so I say get a prenup, cover yourself up. Yeah.
So look, and the only reason why I'm showing this is because I want Black women to protect themselves. I'm not going to tell you not to get married. I will present the truth about your marriages, but I'm not going to tell you to not get married. I'll tell you to get married with standards, boundaries, expectation, and an ironclad prenup. I'll tell you that marriage don't benefit you, but I'm not going to tell you not to get married. I will tell you to stop promoting marriage in my comment section, though. That's what I will tell you. I will tell you to stop promoting marriage as a solution in my comment section because it's not one, but I'm not going to tell you not to get married. If you're going to get married, you should protect yourself with a prenuptial agreement. There's no reason for Black women to even be mildly interested in marriage if you're not going to get a prenup. But most Black women are entering into marriages with, and I would venture to say all of them, nearly all of them. I would venture to say the percentage of Black women who do get prenuptial agreements is probably slim to none. I'm not going to say there's none, but I think the percentage is probably very, very small, minuscule. Because you're not going to convince me that the women who are the least likely to get married and see their wealthy men going out marrying other races of women, you're not going to convince me that they have an empowered attitude to where they will go get a prenuptial agreement. We know Candy got one, but we know that Kenya Moore did not get one. We know that Drew Sidora did not get one. And we know that all of the other women who got married on that show did not get a prenuptial agreement. Candy is probably the only one who did. And because Candy is smart. And that's because the only thing that she loved and worshiped more than a Black man is her money. And I agree with her. You should value your livelihood, which is your money. You should value that over any man. You really should, especially if he can't bring as much to the table as you can. And they literally sitting up here crying and whining, telling you they don't have no money. And you will be a damn fool to get in a relationship with a man who have privilege in society as a man, but don't got no money. Please. And the only way I would get married is with an ironclad, unbreakable, unmovable, rigid prenuptial agreement that's going to very clearly state that whatever money you came into this relationship with is what you're leaving with. Hey, Stormy, I'm glad you're here. Stormy said her money, mama, and then her man. Exactly. No, Candy married down, but she protected herself, which is smart. You can say she's stupid for marrying down. Okay, cool. Most Black women are going to marry down. You either aren't going to marry a Black man or you going to marry down. If you're marrying a Black man, chances are you're marrying down. So Candy wanted to marry a Black man. Okay, cool. Candy protected her assets, though. Candy told him to his face, if you don't sign this prenup, ain't no marriage. So Candy wasn't that desperate to get married. She wasn't that desperate. Because we all saw the show where she looked him at it and said, you trying to take my money, sign the prenup, or ain't no marriage. Candy didn't operate as a beggar. She operated as a chooser. If you saw Candy, you would think Candy had all the opportunity. And Candy did. Because before Todd, AJ was going to marry her. Candy had people to marry her. She may have had low-tier men to marry her, but she had men to marry her. Look at what Kenya Moore is dealing with now, because Kenya ain't had no prenup. So now her begging hypergamous ex-husband is running around sitting here wanting to take her house, wanting her to pay the legal fees because he ain't got no money. And he was supposed to be a business owner. Somebody said that's not true. In California, if you fail to respond or dispute the accusation that you are the father, the state will assume you are the father. Okay, well, whatever. California can be the exception. Most men ain't paying for no child support on no kid unless they sign a birth certificate. So you can sit there. Now in California, I don't know how they do it. They call the man in and give him a paternity test. I'm going to look into it, but I don't believe what you're saying. I'm from California. I still got family in California. I don't believe what you're saying. I'm going to look into it, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say, you lying, he got to sign that birth certificate. I don't believe you. For the person who made the California comment, I don't believe you. I'm going to say you could possibly be right. I don't believe that you're right, but I'm going to look into it. I think you're lying. I think he has to sign the birth certificate. Now, if you're saying on the point of if it's a court order and he denies a court order, then he loses by default. Yeah, then that is the case. That's with any court. If you lose by default if you don't show up to court. I mean, but in most places, you ain't paying no child support for a kid whose birth certificate you didn't sign or paternity wasn't established. You're not about to convince me that that happens in California. I don't believe that. Because you would have a whole lot more of those bandits put on child support than are being put on child support. Because most of them ain't going to show up to court to contest nothing. You said in Illinois they don't have to sign a birth certificate. Do they have to take a paternity test? Because you basically then saying that I can go into California or Illinois, and I can point out a politician and say, this is the father of my child, and then they just go put him on child support. I don't believe that. Because then why aren't women just lying and saying wealthy men are the fathers of their children? I don't think it's that cut and dry. I don't think it's that cut and dry. Because then you could just go pin anybody. And why would you be pinning a bandit if you can pin a wealthy politician? There has to be some stipulations. There has to. I don't think it's that cut and dry. Because then y'all need to, because if it's that cut and dry, then in those states, y'all need to start naming some wealthy politicians and saying that that's your baby daddy then. Then you need to go find some wealthy men in those states then and pin some paternity on them then. Yeah, somebody said if the male asks for a paternity test, if you are married, like I said, there are some stipulations. Paternity has to be established some way, Or else you can just say that anybody is your baby daddy. There are some stipulations. Y'all ain't convincing me that you can just outright name anybody as your baby daddy. Because then I need to go get pregnant and then name Bill Gates as mine then. Based on what y'all saying. Then I need to just go to whatever state you in, say Bill Gates is the father of my child, and then have some Bill Gates money. There are some stipulations. You can't just say that any random man is your baby daddy. You ain't convincing me that. You're not going to convince me that. You can't just name a man, a random man. Like, really? So y'all are convincing me that y'all are trying to get me to believe that you... Then why ain't y'all naming Rahm Emanuel as your baby daddy then? Ain't he in Chicago? Name Rahm Emanuel as your baby daddy. And I guarantee you ain't nobody about to put him on child support just off your word. Okay, then go accuse Rahm Emanuel and prove it then. Okay, go prove it. Then just get pregnant and then go say Rahm Emanuel is your baby daddy. Because that sounds retarded. I don't believe it. Somebody say Elon Musk is their baby daddy. Say Jeff Bezos. It don't matter if he live in Chicago, you do. You have that baby in Chicago, go say Jeff Bezos is your baby daddy. I guarantee you, you ain't just about to pull no money from no Jeff Bezos. They ain't gonna just start pulling no money out of Rahm Emanuel's bank account just because you say that's your baby daddy. Somebody is playing in my face. I don't think it's that easy. But I'm just saying that because I'm gonna need Black women to start protecting your assets from these broke hypergamous bandits. Too many Black women are taking financial L's and going into poverty because they're having to pay bandits who have cheated on them. Yeah, Kenya Moore didn't have a prenup. If Kenya Moore had a prenup, she wouldn't be dealing with Mark Daley and his bullshit that he on. Now, bandits will talk about Black women being bitter and using the court system against a man. Mark Daley is bitter and using the court system against Kenya Moore. And y'all can just sit here and pretend that he's not bitter and disgruntled. He is attractive, though. I will say that. He's attractive. But he's bitter and disgruntled. And he's using the court system out of his bitterness towards Kenya Moore. And I don't see no Black men talking about it. I don't see no Black man at all talking about how bitter old boy is towards Kenya Moore. Why are y'all not talking about the bitterness of Mark Daley and why he's using the court system against Kenya Moore? Because he absolutely is. Actually, Jay-Z is a good point. People keep trying to pin a kid on Jay-Z. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. If I get pregnant, I promise y'all, I'm gonna list Bill Gates as my baby daddy, and let's see how far I get with that. I'm gonna say Elon Musk is the daddy to this baby. I'm gonna say that. And the bottom line is y'all don't know where to serve a Elon Musk. So he ain't gonna respond to nothing that you can't serve to him, because you got to know how to serve it to the person. You have to know how to serve it. So go say that Elon Musk is your baby daddy. Go find out how to serve some papers. Watch him not show up in court and watch him not respond to you and watch you not get far. Watch you not get far. There will be a whole, and I'm not even talking about celebrity men. I'm talking about rich men in general. Rich men. Why don't y'all go pin a baby on some rich men then, since it's that easy? If it's that easy, like, what are y'all doing? Why is there so many of y'all in Illinois and Texas and Ohio, because those are the 3 states that y'all mentioned? Why are y'all broke and fatherless then pinning on a rich man? Theme is saying Michigan is the easiest father by default, and it still requires some or a lot of proof, and you can fight it. I figured that was the case because I seen the case for Michigan. The people are the profile case. I saw it for Michigan, and y'all ain't gonna convince me that in that case that y'all always reference from Michigan. They asked, did he sign the birth certificate, and he said he did. He said he signed the birth certificate. Now maybe there's some other cases that hit the news, but the ones that I saw, even in Michigan. When it hit the news, that man signed that birth certificate. He signed it. And Themis said Michigan is the easiest father by default, and it still requires a lot of proof, and you can fight it. I don't believe what y'all saying. You can't just pin a baby on a man like that. You can't. Or unless y'all dumb and y'all pinning the baby on a wrong man. Why are y'all pinning the baby on broke Tyrone up the street if you could be listing Rahm Emanuel as your baby and Chicago just gonna make him pay you some child support? Do you not know how much child support you will be getting if you list Rahm Emanuel as your baby daddy? Obama from Chicago too. I don't know if he still lived there. Say Obama is your baby daddy and see how far you get. See how far you get. Just list anybody. Born Adiva said you have to establish paternity through the court in Louisiana. There's stipulations in every place. I don't care what they're saying. There's stipulations, even in Ohio, even in Texas, even in Chicago. I'm not gonna let y'all play in my face. I'm not. But this is what I mean when I say there's a lot of women that advocate for men to have these excuses, because now you about to have a bunch of bandits talking about in these certain states, because black women will even tell you, and black women will even tell you that in Chicago, in Ohio, in Michigan, in California, black women will even tell you all the black woman gotta say is that you the daddy and they gonna put you on child support. So I'm on child support in California, I'm on child support in Michigan, I'm on child support in Chicago and Ohio because the black woman just lied on me. I ain't even had no kid with her. A black woman lied on me. Y'all gonna have dusty bandits running around saying that because y'all don't know what you're talking about. You either didn't read the whole law or you didn't understand it, but you're going to have bandits running around here naming those states. Watch when they do. Because y'all don't even know y'all give bandits. You'll give bandits the narrative that they can run with. They already saying they didn't have no kid with you. You just pinning a baby on them. And y'all go sit here and put some false information in the chat box that you know is false. You know that you can't just go name any man. I don't care what state you in. I know you can't just go. Y'all are telling me you don't even got to prove that you had a relationship with that man, really? That's what y'all go tell me? You go tell me that you don't even have to prove that you at least had a relationship with that man, that you at least had sex with him. You could just run into the court and name any man, really? That's what y'all want me to believe? The way that my brain is set up, I can't believe that. And that's the way based on the way that my brain is set up, it's saying somebody in here lying and playing in my face. But why even have their kids? That is a good question, KT. Why even have their children when you know they just go abandoned? They don't want to take care of it. How many more generations are we going to go through where these bandits are showing you and telling you that they don't want to take care of their kids and then you just keep having them? Because then you really are choosing to be a single mother at that point. Now, if a bandit had come on a panel and said that black women are choosing to be baby mamas because we've been abandoning our kids since we walked off the plantation, y'all know we ain't gonna take care of them, but you keep having them, then I would say, bandit, you're correct. They are choosing. Based on that, they are choosing to be single mothers. If you already have a high rate of absentee fathers in your community and you've been having it for generation after generation after generation, and you keep having children with the man who will do that, then you are choosing to be a single mother. You know you will be one if you be with this group of men and you still doing it. It didn't even take women of no color 50 years before they start making memes that say, once you go black, you a single mother. You been a single mother to a black man longer than they have. You didn't create the man. Like, I saw memes about once you go black, you a single mother in the early 2000s. Black men ain't been running through men of no colors community creating single mothers for that long before white women started associating being a single mother to being with a black man. But it's been like a million different generations, and we still sitting here acting like we don't know that these bandits don't take care of their kids. They don't want to. They're going to make excuses not to. Why are you still bearing children with them? Why? You already know who they are. They haven't changed. They've been doing the same thing. They did it to your mama, your grandmama, your great grandmama, your auntie, your niece. They done it to everybody else nearly. How many more generations do we need to have? And now you about to have women from overseas complaining about the same thing. It ain't gonna take them 16 generations to catch on. It's been taking us. I think that's how many generations we've had post-plantation. I think somebody can correct me. I may be wrong. I may have did the math calculation wrong, but I think we've had 16 generations of the same thing, and black women still ain't caught on though. So other women have, because they're making memes about once you go black, you become a single mother. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say black women didn't make these memes. Here, we can pull them up now. I used to see these on MySpace in the 2000s, the early 2000s. Let me see. Look, y'all not about to convince me. You're not about to convince me that black women made these memes. Because as a black woman, you don't go black. You are black. But you're not going to convince me that a black woman made these memes. These memes were either created by man of no color or woman of no color. Look at all these memes. Sees white woman with black child, single mother. Once you go black, you're a single mother. Once you go black, you're a single mother. Once you go white, no. Once you go white, you're not a single mom. Like, that's just not what it is. But once you go black, you will become a single parent. Here's another one. You know what they say. Once you go black, you're a single mom. Once you go black, you're a single mom. Once you go black, you're a single mom. This is the one I used to see on MySpace all the time. One of my nephew's mom posted this a long time ago. When my nephews were the baby, they adults now. One of them posted this on her Facebook. And at the time, I'm going to tell y'all, I dragged her for filth. When I tell you that when one of my nephew's mom posted this on MySpace, when I tell you I dragged her for filth, and I would probably drag her now, even if I saw her, because it's like, you chose him. So you don't get to... You chose them. So what are you talking about? And she did. And I ain't gonna put nobody's business out there, but I'm gonna say she knew what she was signing up for. She knew 100% she knew what she was dealing with. When I say she knew 100% what the outcome would be, she knew 100% unequivocally, guaranteed. She knew exactly what she was getting. She knew exactly what she was getting. And she had the audacity to post this. And it's like, lady, did you not forget the way that you met this man? So anyway, I dragged her back in the day. When I saw she posted that, I dragged the hell out of her. But that was in my back. That was also back in my in my black male worshiping days. And that was also back in my black male worshiping days. But women of no color got it. They know what it is. They know exactly what it is. They know that there's an issue with black men and creating single mothers. They know that. They know for a fact that there is. And they've known for a while. And it didn't take them 16 generations to find out either. It didn't take them 16 generations to find out that if you create children with a black man, you're likely to turn into a single mother. It didn't take them that long to find that out. It's taking black women that long, though. But I do want to move on, though. I want to talk about Sukihana. Let me get my stuff organized first. YK Osiris sat up here and decided to violate a woman. And yes, he violated a woman. Okay. He violated Sukihana and decided to walk up to her and feel obligated to her body, and therefore decided that he was going to kiss her without her permission. And regardless to what y'all want to say, that is assault. You do not get to just go up to somebody at all. Hold on for a second, y'all. I need to do something. Give me 1 second to actually do something. But I'm going to talk to y'all while I'm doing it. But you do not get at all to walk up to somebody and kiss them. You don't get to do that. And listen, y'all, I get that Sukihana has a certain reputation. I do understand that. And I think that based on the way she conducts herself, because we saw her, we always see her sucking toes on film and talking about sucking dick. I think we just a little while ago saw her in some video where those talking about being slutted out. I think we saw her like on a dog leash. The bottom line is, Sukihana presents herself in a very sexually inappropriate way, if you ask me. I think she does. But even still, I don't think she deserves to have a man I don't think that I don't think she deserves a man coming up and just kissing her. Hold on, y'all, because I'm about to do something. I gotta do something really quickly. But I don't think she deserves that. But YK Osiris decided that he was going to walk up to her and that he was going to violate her. And now he's being accused of SA. Why do I keep doing this? And he doesn't like that. Hold on, y'all. Let me do something really quickly. In addition, I have to run to the bathroom real quick. So I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick. I've been sitting here trying to hold it, but I need to do something really quickly. I'm gonna come right back on. So hold on.